The Haunted Story of the Hellfire Club, Ireland. A cloudy October afternoon. It was rainy and misty at that night. A girl, a Dublin-born folklore student, hiked up Montefiore Hill with her spectacle boyfriend, two classmates. They carried audio gear, journals, and a bottle of Jameson for courage. Their goal was to spend the night in the ruins of the Hellfire Club, notorious for being haunted by the devil. Recording a paranormal activity for their university's Myths and Memory project. The locals warned them, saying it was haunted by the devil, and that it's cursed, for whoever goes there meets a deadly end. The devil still plays cards up there, the locals said. He waits for the arrogant, the curious, and the drunks to come into the den, and then he takes them. The students laugh it off, saying that it was just the superstitions of the locals, thinking it was nothing but just the pranks and local stories. But as they reached the summit, a sudden cold wind blew through the trees, and the smell of a burning wood and sulfur carried on the breeze. The ruins loomed like a broken tooth on the hill's crown, black stone, wind-scored, and the watching. Inside the lounge, the group set up a camp. The girl lit up the candles and laid out salt in a circle, half for protection, half for the drama, the effect. The boy pulled out a deck of cards and challenged the legend. Let's see if the devil wants in on a hand, he mocked. Noel rolled her eyes, and the boy poured the whiskey. And then the wind howled louder now, so the trees outside had gone unnaturally silent. As the guy dealt with the cards, and the fifth card appeared on the table, a black joker, half blank-faced, out from the deck. Everyone went silent. Then, from the stone archway, a soft tapping echoed, like boots stepping across the wet stone. Darren got up to check the entrance, and then screamed. A tall, cloaked figure stood just beyond the threshold, backlit by a moonlight. Its eyes were glowed like coals, and a steam rose from the split hooves pressing into the earth, because instead of the foot like a human being, the thing had hooves like animals, similar to the hooves of the goat. The air reeked of scorched meat and sulfur. It was an unbearable smell. Darren slammed the door, but latch broke off in its hand, and he scrambled back. The candles flared, and the salt circles scattered as if swept by unseen hands. The other guy, Mark, began to console, his mouth foaming as if he was having a seizure, eyes rolling back. A voice, low, layered, and ancient, rattled through the chamber where the students sat. You came to play. Now let the wager begin. The girl, trembling, realized the layout around them matched the drawings from the 18th century occult text. This wasn't a story, it was a ritual site, and they had regenerated it. Mark, the guy who mocked this legend, now was speaking in a voice not his own, and began naming each of them and their sins, private regrets, secret betrayals, things no one else know about each other. Outside, the goats screamed echo through forest, except that there were no ghosts in here. The girl forced herself to chant protective prayer in Irish she had read in her research. The demonic presence shrieked and fluttered and backed away, backing into the shadow. But it wasn't retreating. It was waiting for them to make a mistake. The entity gave them ultimatum. One remains, and the rest may leave, or you all will be devoured. Mark collapsed unconscious, and the girl, through tears, offered herself, but Nolly stopped her. Darren, terrified, tried to run, but the door slammed shut with a boom like thunder. The devil's voice whispered then, "The coward pays first." Darren was lifted into the air. His mouth was stretching in a silent scream. The limbs bending unnaturally. And then, just as suddenly, he dropped to the floor. His eyes burned black. Heart stopped. The girl, Darren's girlfriend, screamed in anguish. The presence slowly faded as the dawn's light began to rise behind the trees. They fled down the hill with Mark alive, but silent and broken. The authorities ruled the Darren's death as a sudden cardiac arrest. His girlfriend, never spoke of what truly happened, except once, in a hushed podcast interview under an anonymous name channel. Mark never recovered. He was hospitalized in a mental institution after claiming he could hear the hooves and the smell of a burnt blood. The Hellfire Club remains open to tourists. You go into your own risk, but remember never to mock the unseen. But the locals say if you go up to the hill alone, you may find the fifth card on the table. The same table where Mark and his friends dare to mock the devil. Legends say the devil only joins the game when someone invites him, and only leaves when the soul is taken. At the Hellfire Club, the game never ends. Hellfire Club is one of those places that have been notorious for being haunted. Many people have recounted many stories that happened there. It is one of those stories that I've told you of many stories that happened there. Whether it's a mystery, a myth, or something that of supernatural, it is undecided. But one thing is clear. Many things in this world are better to be unknown and better to be not to touch. Because if you look closely, whenever human beings dare to defy reality and dare to defy the nature, the outcome is always horrible. For more stories like this, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching the spine-chilling stories.